Have you ever found that your life is full of distractions where you roll along, each day rolls into the next day, and your schedule is full of things that you don't want to do or that stress you out, or you find yourself focused on things that you really don't care about? Well, there's a saying that energy flows where focus goes. And when you spend most of your day focused on what you don't want, you're always surprised when what you don't want shows up. Well, I learned at a very young age about the now, about the present moment awareness. One day I was about 18, 19 years old, and I was in high school. And I was in my dad's living room by myself. It was probably midnight. And I was excited to see this movie called The Highlander. And this movie was about the now. I just didn't know it at the time. It was kind of a red herring in the room, of foreshadowing what was to come and what was to be my life's purpose and my ultimate calling in life. And this movie was about this immortal being that could not die. And the saying in the movie is there can be only one. There's only one person that will experience all of what life's in the universe had to offer this person in life. And the movie started, and as the tape is rolling, the screen is black. Because before a movie came on in the VHS days, there was kind of a black blank roll before the credits or before the premiere started, the preview started. And when that happened, I took a breath. I just breathed out and opened my eyes, and the room was black. And it was the very first time I could remember being in the present moment, completely content, not concerned about anything. I was excited to see this movie, and turns out this movie was all about the now. It's about these immortal beings that cannot die. And Christopher Lambert and Sean Connery are the characters in this movie. And Queen, who is one of my favorite bands of all time, scored the entire movie. And basically, Christopher Lambert's character is a Highlander. He's an immortal, he cannot die. And after a big battle, he's cut, he's stabbed, he's laying in his family's, practically in the crypt, ready to die. They shut the door on him, and the next day, he wakes and he's fresh as a daisy. He's never even felt better. He can't understand what's happened to him. And the villagers say that he has the devil in him, and they oust him and they stone him and they kick him out of the village. So he's wandering by himself, no shoes, in the desert, in the woods, through the hills of Scotland and the Highlands. And he finds this master, this Sean Connery's character, who is this trainer of the immortals, and teaches him the ways of the Highlander, for there can be only one. And they all battle to the end to get the prize, the great prize. And the prize is all the universal awareness of consciousness and great powers to change the world. And if the Kurgan, who's the bad guy, gets all the powers, he takes the evil side. And if the Highlander gets it, he will take the good side of these powers. So it's amazing. And this movie basically rolls on through the 13 to 1400s and follows through the present day. And then the Highlander is through all these times and space, and he has all these different peoples that he has to leave behind. And it becomes this very dramatic story. But there can be only one. And as I finished this movie and Queen scored the whole movie, I felt, wow, there was something more to this than just the message of this immortal being that could not die. He took us through this journey of his life and how people and life's circumstances change, and your life is about death and loss and birth and abundance and lack of abundance. And when that movie ended, it made me think, wow, I just experienced something. And the now became my focus. At 18, 19 years old, I didn't know it would ultimately be 30 years later, this book that I wrote called The Now-ist. And it's a book that comes out in the fall, and it speaks of present moment awareness. And then as I speak to groups of people and I describe my book and I explain to them what my passion is and what my calling is to be of service to other people, I explain to them that the secret to life is in a very simple word, and it's an anagram. An anagram is a word spelled in different directions can spell another word. So when I speak to these groups of people, I tell them the secret to life is N-O-W. And I say, what's that spell? And they always say, now. And I say, what's that spelled backwards? And every time they say, wow. And then they say, no, one. I say, yes. When you're in the now, you have won. You've won presence. You've won the power back in your life. And that's the great secret. Most of us get drug along each and every day by circumstances of life, by the negative things that we don't want, by our focus, by the inertia of living, and the minutia, and the task, and the doing. And they forget to be. They forget to take a breath and be present and be consistent with that feeling. Because energy flows where your focus goes. And in that word, N-O-W, W-O-N, when you're in the now, you've won, is the great secret. And most people take it for granted. Most people go through life based on schedules, based on somebody else's agenda for their life. And that's the great mistake. So it's easy to correct yourself. It's interesting that the Now One anagram was the simplicity that took me back to the simple present moment of that Highlander movie when I was just 18 years old in high school in my father's living room. And here it is 30 years later, and all the inspiration, all the building up, just like the Highlander in the movie, has come to a culmination of a book. I was pregnant, they say, with the book 9 months ago, and 9 months later it was delivered. And now it's going to come out in the fall, and I'm excited to share it with you. I'm excited mostly to share the message of the book with you. And it's in a simple word. You know, it's been said that, dogs are unconditional. They're there for everybody. And they're like God in the sense that they're only here to serve you. They have no agenda. They just want to make you happy. And what is dog spelled backwards but G-O-D? Dog, God, another anagram. So the unconditional love that you experience from dogs is kind of another sign of God and how to be simple in your life, how to be focused on things that are in this present moment and not so much of what you don't want in your past, in your future, focusing on things that really don't have any impact on your life. Stress takes time. Stress takes a past. Stress takes a future. This present moment really doesn't have stress if you focus on what you want and use your imagination to put yourself in this moment. So the oneness that I feel now, one, the oneness. W-O-N is also spelled O-N-E, a homonym, one. Just like the Highlander, when you're one, when you're in the now, you've won the present moment. And that's what my passion is. That's what my focus is, to help people focus their lives in the present moment and realize that's where your power is. And that's when you gain stress. Stress cannot live in that present. When you gain stress, it's usually because of a chronological time span where you're thinking of something that happened in the past or something that's happening or going to happen in the future. In those moments, that's when you worry. That's when your body feels dis-ease. And it's been said many times that dis-ease creates disease in your body. A body at ease will not create dis-ease. And in the present moment, if you focus on what you want and you live with that peace, the present moment will be the ease that you will experience in your life. And by virtue of the law of attraction, you will bring more peace into your life. You'll focus on what you want. You'll imagine it happening in this present moment. And when you think from the end, in that present moment, not about the end. About the end is, gosh, I have something out here that I want to create. I have a goal, a focus. When you're thinking in the present moment, that's when you imagine what you want from the end, as if it already lives here and now, it's already happened. When you can do that, you become a Now-ist. The title of my book is The Now-ist. It's teaching more people to live with present moment awareness, to live with joy, to live with peace, to live with contentment, and not focus on your past and your future. So many people live their lives in desperation. Henry David Thoreau says, most people live their lives in quiet desperation. And to live in the present moment without that focus of your past and your future, you can find out what it's like to live as a Now-ist, how to live in the present moment, how to glean more experience from yourself, and knowing that N-O-W spelled backward is one. And I say dog spelled backward is God because most people need something to hang on to, something simple, a simple concept like now one, or dog, D-O-G, dog spelled backward is God. And living in that simplicity of your life tends to give you something to hang on to, something simple, something you can focus on regularly instead of the complexity of your day and the schedule that's full of so many different events that you need to do. I take one event in my day at a time. That's the secret. To live in the past or the future is really what takes people out of that present moment awareness. I have so many things that I sometimes have 20 appointments in a day. If I focus on all those 24 appointments at once, I'm stressed out. But if I take one at a time, I put all my energy into that one moment. I have nothing but my focus and my content feelings in that moment. Stress can't exist. Fear, worry, anxiety can't exist. Because I'm just here with you right now, speaking to you at this camera in this one moment. That's my focus. I'm not thinking about anything else. So I offer it up to you. Live in the present moment. When you're in the now, you have won.